Hello, welcome to another episode of comics. So, um, I was thinking of the ideas that we could probably do with some of these comics, and one of the ones I thought that I should probably go through is some comics that I've read or that I haven't read or that I've started and just haven't finished. And I actually do have some comics that I regret buying, but it's not a whole lot, so I'm just gonna go through those ones real quick. But before I do all of that, I have I had gotten received one comic that I ordered and one comic that I bought at Barnes and Noble yesterday. Which, by the way, Barnes and Noble is an amazing place to go to buy comics. Like, insanely good. I went there and they just had a ton of stuff, like a ton of DC, a ton of Marvel. They had some offshoot ones, which was really weird, and like they had Dark Horse, the people that do Hellboy, they had a comic of The Great Gatsby, and or they had a comic of The Witcher books adapted into a comic. So that was really cool. So if you want to get into comic books, but you don't really know like any comic book stores near you, see if there's a Barnes and Noble near you, because they had a pretty good selection of comics. Anyways, the comic that I bought from Barnes and Noble yesterday was Hellboy Complete Short Stories Volume 2. Um, so, um, pretty stoked about this one since I have the first Hellboy, but I don't think it's the short stories one. But, anyways, you know, the art style is amazing. Just love Hellboy. So, anyways, so I got Hellboy, so I'm pretty stoked about that. The other comic is actually a single issue comic, and I might make a video over my single issue comics that I have. Let me know if you guys want to see that. But I got a pretty expensive one here. This is Superman. I'm not sure if you can see that. This is Superman 775. This cost me $100. It's a second printing of it, so it's not as valuable, but it is a 9.8. This scale goes up to 10, and it's based on how rare the comic is and how good of a condition it is. And so I got this one. The reason this one is so valuable is because it is a introduction comic. So it introduces characters. It introduces Manchester Black and the Elite. If you know the movie Superman versus the Elite, that whole movie is based off of this single issue comic. So that's pretty cool. I haven't seen the movie entirely, so I might get around to watching that soon. And another video idea I had is maybe you guys want to see some of my favorite comic book movies, and I could do a recommendation video over some of those. Anyways, we can get into these. So we'll start off with the comics that I regret buying, because there are two different reasons I regret buying them. But this first one is Invincible Family Matters. And the only reason I regret buying this one is because I bought this and like a week later I got the big Invincible Compendium, which has this in it. So like, I mean, it's not terrible. Like, this wasn't terribly expensive, but I still kind of regret buying it. So there's that one. And the second one I legitimately regret buying because I hated it. This is The Boys. I read The Boys. I read this one, and it's the first one. It's the name of the game, and I hate this book. Um, uh, Most people that have read the comic and watched the show will tell you that the show is 10 times better than the comic. The comic is just, it seems like it's written by somebody who hates comic books, and it's not really great. Like, there's a difference between hating comic books and then just hating comic books. Like The Watchmen. Watchmen is a criticism of comics. This is not a criticism. This is pure hatred. Sorry, Kai. Um, but yeah, so there's that, and it wasn't really super fun read, anyways. The dialogue was really weird. It was like vulgar just to be vulgar. It's really kind of dumb. Now let's get into books I haven't finished and reasons why. Strange Adventures. I kind of just got this, but it's by one of my favorite authors, which is controversial. It's by Tom King. And the reason I haven't finished this is just because I haven't started reading it yet, just because I've got it really like recently, so like I haven't had the chance to read it, and so looking forward to reading it. My semester's almost over with, so hopefully I will have more time over the summer to read all of these and eventually get them all read. So yeah, Strange Adventures. I've heard it's amazing and really looking forward to reading this one. Second one, Batman Under the Red Hood. Well, I haven't read this one because I haven't read this one, Death in the Family. And I haven't read this because I just haven't gotten around to it. But I want to read this after I read this because, I mean, they kind of correlate together. This is, you'll notice that this is the cover for the movie. And, I don't know. It was the only one that they had. And so I just bought it just because. And so, I actually really enjoy the art style of this one. It's very, very nice. I haven't even read this yet, so I'm pretty stoked about getting around to reading this. Yeah, Batman's one of my favorite people to read about, and just really need to get around to reading these and all that jazz. But yeah, this one's also pretty solid. I haven't heard much about this comic, actually. I haven't heard if it's a good read or if it's just like, you know, whatever. Anyways. Now, Batman the Adventure Continues. Basically, the concept of this comic book is Batman the Animated Series, but if they wanted more seasons and they wanted more modern storylines. As you can see, it has some of the animations, the animated suits like Nightwing and Tim Drake and Barbara Gordon, but it also has Red Hood and Jason Todd, which the show did not tackle at all because it was pretty dark, but it introduces some characters that were never in the show and some storylines and whatnot, and I've been meaning to get around to read it. The only reason I haven't is because I am watching the DC animated universe right now, and I haven't finished everything. I'm gonna finish everything and then read these comics. But the art style in it is very how the show was animated, and it's pretty good. I've been meaning to get around to reading it. I don't know if it's actually canon to the shows either. I looked that up, but anyways. Batman White Knight. This is a really interesting run, actually, or really interesting like concept over what if the Joker actually tried, and he becomes like reformed and everything, and takes down Batman. And I've heard it's a super good run, and it's got a sequel to it. It's called Beyond the White Knight, and it's basically Batman Beyond, but in this world, which is super cool. Which I've been meaning to get around to reading. I started this one actually. Where did I get to? I got around a couple pages in. I didn't get super far in, but like around here, that's where I got. But I didn't get super far in, and the reason for that is I quit reading this actually because it was around Halloween, and I wanted a good Halloween comic to read, And what better Halloween comic than Batman the Long Halloween? So I read that instead, and I just haven't gotten back to reading that. The Challenge of the Super Sons. Reason I haven't read this is just because um, I haven't had the motivation to. At the time, I was super into the Super Sons, and but I got back and I just didn't feel the urge to read it. I think I was reading Invincible at the time. I had bought this, and I was like, as soon as I finish Invincible, I'm gonna read this. And then as soon as I finished Invincible, I was not in the mood to read this. I ended up reading more Superman, and so yeah, that's why I haven't gotten around to reading this one. But I love the dynamic between John Kent and Damian Wayne. I think it is amazing, and I will never forgive them for aging up John Kent. Um, that was really upsetting. Uh, now, this one holds a near and dear heart to me. It is Justice League: The New Frontier. Um, it is basically um, the reason that I hold this one so close to my heart is this was the first animated movie I watched. The Justice League New Frontier was the first animated superhero movie I remember watching and loving. And I loved this as a kid. This was like, I went to this and like, the art style is the same as the animated movie, and it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But this is a really interesting read because you notice halfway through it that the author here, Darwin Cook, it seems like it is a response to Watchmen, whereas Watchmen is saying is a criticism of comics and is a saying that superheroes are bad and they're supposed to be for kids. This is a response saying superheroes aren't just for kids. Superheroes can be for everybody. And you can do whatever you want with superheroes. Superheroes are good and innately good, and you can do that with adult themes in them. And it's super good. Why did I stop reading this? I don't really remember why I stopped reading this. I got like a quarter of the way. I got about there into it. It was a really good read, actually. It brings in some of like the Justice Society and stuff, and it has some original characters, which, um, uh, this guy right here, literally just straight from the Watchmen. Straight up, he's just carried like he looks exactly like him, and it's just a riff on Watchmen, which is really interesting because Watchmen is a riff on comics. So I don't know. I think it's really interesting. From what I've read so far, it is super good. But I think the reason I quit reading it is because I was moving to college, and I think I just didn't have time. So I think I quit reading it, put it up on my shelf, and then I was like, oh, I'll read it eventually once I'm done with some other comics. But I haven't read this one. Uh, V for Vendetta. I bought this one in Colorado actually when I went up to visit my buddy Dean, and I really, really, really wanted to read it, and so I got this and Watchmen in Colorado, and I wanted to read it, but I couldn't decide which one I wanted to read first, so I read Watchmen first since I'd seen the movie actually, and I loved the movie, so I read Watchmen. And Watchmen is a very, very, very long read. Watchmen is a 9-panel comic, so it's 9 panels instead of like let me find something like pull out Hellboy. Some of these are just yeah, these are a couple panels, but like some of them are just like 2 or 3 sentences. Watchmen is very dialogue heavy and it's 9 panels long, and it took me hours to read it. I read it on my way back from Colorado, and that was like a 6 hour trip, and I read it. Or no, it's not even 6 hours. It's like 8 hours, but it's like an 8 hour trip, and I read it all the way down here, and I finished Watchmen, and I was tired and relieved and just awestruck and everything. and I loved Watchmen. I loved it. And then I bust open this book, and it has these big panels, dialogue heavy. Reading comics was like hurting my brain at the time. So I pull this out, I read a couple pages, and my head's just pounding. That's why I was like, okay, I need a break. I'm gonna get car sick, like whatever. I can't read this right now. So I got home, put it up on my shelf, waited for a day I could read it, and that day hasn't come. I haven't been moved to read V for Vendetta since then. But it's really interesting. I feel like I would really love this comic because it does take, I believe it takes place during the French Revolution, and I love the French Revolution, or at least know it has hints to the French Revolution, like the Remember 5th of November. Yeah, right there. But yeah, I just haven't been in the mood to watch this. Maybe next year whenever I'm in my history class and we talk about the French Revolution, maybe I'll be like, time to pick this one up, read it. The Umbrella Academy. There's really no excuse. I just don't. I think I bought this one just because I don't know. I heard the Umbrella Academy was good, and so I was like, I should read it, and I just really haven't. I straight up have not read it, and I don't know. I just really haven't gotten around to reading it. I really need to because I really like the author of Umbrella Academy, who is the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, I believe. I believe it's My Chemical Romance. I could be wrong though. The lead singer of My Chemical Romance, and straight up is just like, hey, he worked at DC, and he was like, I love the Doom Patrol. And he read like a comic, and he's like, I love Doom Patrol. I want to do that, but different. And he does it, and he writes the Umbrella Academy, and apparently it was super good. And so I've been meaning to get around to reading it, and I've been needing to. Yeah, but yeah, there's really no excuse why I haven't read it. We're almost done. Trust. Nightwing, Night Terrors. I bought this one online because I saw a video of someone saying that this book is emotionally damaging. And the reason I haven't gotten around to reading it is because I don't think I could take emotional damage right now. So I just haven't gotten around to reading Nightwing, Night Terrors. Whenever I want to hurt myself, I will read this though. Neil Gaiman's Sandman. I got this when the Sandman show was coming out, and I think halfway through it. Yeah, I got about right here. Yeah, about halfway through it. I stopped reading this because I got Invincible, I think. No. Why did I stop reading this? I don't really remember why I stopped reading this. I think it was just really dark. It was either really dark or I got a different comic that I wanted to read, but I stopped reading it, and I don't know why. I really like this. I really like Neil Gaiman too. I've read one of his other books and some of his short stories that he's written, and I love Neil Gaiman as a author. And so I was like, a comic book Neil Gaiman does, and the art style is astonishing. What's there to miss out on? John Constantine's in the beginning of the book, and I love John Constantine. I don't know, I just kind of didn't read it. But anyways, yeah, this is Sandman. It's really good. I don't know why I quit reading it, but I love Sandman. It was really excuse me. It was a really good book. Really enjoyed it. And this. Superman City of Tomorrow. Oh dang, it's got some stuff on it. Some of these aren't in the best condition because they've been up on my shelf, and I think whenever I push them in, they mess up the covers, but it is what it is. They're books. Superman City of Tomorrow. Where did I get? I got about here, where my bookmark is, that my sweet, wonderful girlfriend made for me. Sorry. She made me this awesome bookmark with Superman, Nightwing, Batman, and Blue Beetle on it. But yeah. Anyways, this is Superman City of Tomorrow. This is a book where I don't really know like what's happening so far. Superman stories have always been really kind of weird. Like to me, Superman's very random, and it's very like encounters that happen, and just I don't know. I like this. I do like it. I don't remember why I quit reading it. I think maybe I just got on my Superman rut, which I was in for a long time. That was all I wanted to read was Superman comics, and that's all that I was shopping for was Superman comics. And I love the art style of this book. It's really pretty, and I think the reason I stopped reading it is because I wanted to read Superman and Batman. So I think there's a reason I stopped reading it, but I don't know. I never bought Superman and Batman, so shame on me. But yeah, that's all the comics I haven't read or started and didn't finish, and the ones I regret. Whenever I finish a comic or something, I'll do a deep dive on it if you guys want me to. I can make a whole video over all these comics, literally all of them. I could also make a video going over my single issues if you guys want me to do that. I have a little pile of them that I could go through. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, comment. Tell me what you guys want to see. You want me to go over into detail over why I really hate this book, or animated movies to watch, or just movies in general to watch, or do you want me to go over my single issues? Or do you want me to do all of them? Because I'll do all of them if you guys don't say anything. Thanks for watching. Thanks for making it this far.